Good morning, everyone. Welcome to session ENT223. As many of you know, thousands of customers are already running SAP on AWS. However, we still get questions from customer and partner asking, can SAP system that handle large traffic volume run well in AWS cloud? If you are asking similar question of your SAP system, then this session is for you. My name is Sejun Kim, and I'm a senior SAP solutions architect. I'm honored to be co-presenting today with my customers, Yonggon Kim and Byung-Hoon Kim. Yonggon is the head of digital marketing group, and Byung-Hoon is the lead developer who is in charge of Samsung Electronics CRM. Today, we will share the story of Samsung Electronics with you. Specifically, we will discuss some of the challenges Samsung Electronics faced, especially when dealing with large traffic spike around major shopping event like Black Friday. So we will provide an overview and unpack how they were able to solve this issue by migrating to AWS cloud. Today, the key theme I want to focus on in this session is SAP modernization architecture. So first, I will explain exactly what SAP modernization architecture is. And then Yonggon Kim will discuss how Samsung Electronics leverage SAP modernization architecture in their global CRM system to handle large-scale events like Black Friday. After that, Byung-Hoon Kim will provide a technical deep dive into how SAP modernization architecture was implemented on AWS, utilizing various AWS services. If time permits, we will open up the floor for Q&A session to address any question or concern you may have at the end. Now, we will dive into the detail of Samsung Electronics modernization journey. To start, let's review what exactly we mean by SAP modernization architecture. I want to explore one question. Can a modernization architecture be implemented for SAP? If you are familiar with cloud computing, you've likely heard a lot about application modernization architecture. However, you may find it difficult to easily answer. This can be achieved with SAP. So this part of our session aims to answer this key question. Migrating apps to cloud via rehosting does not automatically provide the full benefit, elasticity, resilience, and flexibility. Application modernization means transforming monolithic architecture into something more agile, elastic, and high available. The end goal may be a microservices architecture. However, the SAP solution does not yet support microservices architecture. So, what is the solution? AWS customer and partner attempting a modernization have taken a middle path. By implementing some workload as cloud services to solve pain point, you can create more flexible and available architecture. which we will refer to SAP modernization architecture in this session. Let's explore some real-world example of customer and partners innovating their business with SAP modernization architecture. One example is intelligent document processing. You can imagine manually entering data from invoice or sales order into SAP system is time-consuming and error-prone. So in that case, you can use Amazon TextRect. Amazon TextRect is a machine learning optical character recognition service. So when you use Amazon TextRect, you can automatically extract text input it to SAP system. So you can have saving time and improving accuracy. Another example is language translation. Employees at the global company often use shared SAP and related system. But the problem is speaking different language. So in that case, you can use Amazon Translate. Amazon Translate enables cost-effective localization and multilingual communication. Third example is implementing event-driven architecture. When business event occurs in SAP systems, they can trigger AWS services like AWS Lambda. So this starts new business process and updating data automatically. To improve responsiveness and customer experience. This example showcases the innovation unlocked by SAP modernization. I think some of you may be wondering, how do we connect AWS services to SAP system? When integrating AWS services with SAP system for SAP modernization, the cornerstone technology is the AWS SDK for SAP ABAP. The AWS SDK for SAP ABAP provides access to all 200 plus AWS services and support both self-managed and live with SAP deployment. By connecting via HTTPS, it does so securely. With AWS SDK, ABAP developer can easily leverage AWS services using their existing ABAP skill. So this makes it simple for ABAP developer to harness the power of AWS to easily scale and innovate on top of SAP. Now let's take a closer look where the AWS SDK for SAP ABAP sit within SAP environment. At the lowest level, we have the operating system with the database layer on top. And on top of SAP kernel, we have ABAP as the programming language. Within this stack are various SAP standard modules that you use in your enterprise. In many cases, this module can be extended by custom ABAP programs. This is where AWS SDK for SAP ABAP comes in. By integrating with custom ABAP programs, the AWS SDK for SAP ABAP enables communication with and use of all 200 plus AWS services via REST APIs. Additionally, I know many of you are excited about new Amazon generative AI service, Amazon Bedrock. Bedrock makes it easier for developers to build generative AI application, and it's a fully managed service that provides access to a range of powerful foundation models from Amazon and leading AI companies like AI-21 Labs, Anthropic, and Servability AI. The great news is the AWS SDK for SAP ABAP now supports Amazon Bedrock as of release 1.0.64. As we conduct this session, I will summarize what we have covered so far. You can now easily leverage the AWS SDK for SAP ABAP to create a SAP modernization architecture that helps your business innovate by linking your SAP system with powerful AWS services. By importing AWS SDK into your SAP system, you can call all 200 plus AWS services with just a few lines of ABAP code. Next up, my customer will share Samsung Electronics story and how they implemented SAP modernization architecture approach. Thank you for your time, and I will now hand over to Youngwon.
Thank you, Sejun. Hello, everyone. My name is Yongwon Kim, a head of digital marketing group at Samsung SDS. Here, I would like to how and why we decided to collaborate with AWS to modernization architecture and meet customer requirements. But before we go further, let me brief you on our company first. Samsung SDS is one of the affiliate companies of Samsung Group. We have 38 years of industry experience as an IT service provider, and we have adjusting our business focus based on cloud strategy first, along with the slogan, Cloud Simply Fit. Our cloud strategy consists of three main parts. Our own cloud platform named SAP, Enterprise SaaS, and all-in-one managed service provider. Samsung SDS is also one of AWS's best partners, holding several solid qualifications. For example, we are the first MSP partner who acquired AWS competence in Korea. And we hold 2,100 AWS certifications, which is the greatest number among Korean MSP ecosystem. Samsung SDS will continue to provide our customers with an end-to-end managed cloud service, from consulting to migration, modernization, and maintenance service. In alignment with our company's mission, my team specialized in managed service tailored for digital marketing. And we operate global CRM system for one of our largest clients, Samsung Electronics. In general, CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. But here, we are a little different definition, Customer Relationship Marketing. As a core platform of Samsung Electronics' global marketing activity, the objective of GCRM system is to provide 1.4 billion of loyal customers with the variety of benefits of rewards. Furthermore, we are aiming to provide the same user experience through both online and offline channels. GCRM consists of four main parts. The first is the managing customer information effectively, because all the marketing campaigns start from the customer data. The second is loyalty and rewards management. All benefits are provided based upon membership program and reward points. The third is marketing campaign itself. We continue to create beneficial marketing campaigns through both paid and Samsung Electronics' own channels. This is a core part of the GCRM. The last is business intelligence. We keep improving the efficiency of the GCRM activity by data analysis and tracking. In order to support the global scale of Samsung Electronics' business, GCRM has been implementing robust and scalable systems using AWS services. We adopted SAP CRM in Korea and China in 2014 for the first time, and we gradually expanded our system to total 9 regions, where Samsung Electronics has major business presence. During regional expansion process, we made it priority for system performance through distributed system, and we also consider global compliance like GDPR, LGPD, and CCPA. This slide explains what made us drive cloud migration. Although we made our best effort to design our on-premise architecture, as customer expectation and requirements kept growing and complicated, we encountered several challenges. Fixed computing capacity didn't manage performance requirements in peak season, and maintaining high availability and low cost more difficult. And we couldn't continue to drive architectural innovation. We felt like we were stopped. So we took a bold step to cloud migration, to overcome our challenges, and it paid off well. Cloud migration gave us significant advantages. We could secure the better API performance to connect with diverse internal systems, and we could move away from scale-up structure for HANA database performance. Furthermore, by improving reliability and agility, we could secure better system stability and data credibility. Finally, we could save our operational cost with 20%. When it comes to cloud partner selection, we were confident AWS is best partner for several reasons. AWS is recognized as SAP HANA infrastructure service leader for the 5th straight year. EC2 high memory instance, for example, U-type instance, was the perfect fit for our customers' requirement. More than 200 AWS services enabled us to achieve continuous modernization. AWS's financial program, like MAP for SAP, helped us save the cost. AWS SDK for SAP ABAP accelerated our innovation. Therefore, it was the most suitable option for our client's need. Let me walk you through the detail of what we've done for GCRM modernization with AWS and what we learned. Let's look at the migration details. This diagram shows the legacy architecture before migrating to AWS. You can easily find this is kind of stereotypical architecture majority of SAP application used to take. No microservices, no modernization. SAP CRM and hybrids are connected with a single HANA database. We normally called MCOD. To support diverse reporting requirements, we operate SAP BO service separately. Furthermore, separate web system is also key part of GCRM system to enable API support. This legacy system was established in 2014, and it was based upon 4 terabyte HANA database, which was the largest database size HANA DB support among Korean customers. Definitely, disaster recovery and high availability was implemented, and 4 terabyte disaster recovery was the first reference in Korea. Main purpose of GCRM system is to provide data related to customers' membership point or membership grade. So, GCRM system is designed to get huge amount of data requests from many different internal channels, such as Samsung account, Galaxy Store, and others. However, as traffic amount has been consistently growing, the legacy GCRM faces serious capacity limitation to handle all traffics. Particularly, when traffic spike happened by special event, such as Black Friday promotion, Galaxy Unpacked season, we experienced response time delay, even system failure or hang, which seriously impacted on our service quality. We analyzed that all the risk was started from high CPU and memory utilization of SAP AP and HANA DB. Many times, it caused performance down or a system hang. The most important point was the GCRM was unable to control transaction. This was the key pain point we faced, and it motivated us to provide AWS migration. Okay, from now on, let's dive deep how we modernize our legacy architecture to resolve problems and pain points. 4 major pillars were mainly targeted. First, we applied read enable feature to distribute HANA databases load. Second, to secure better high availability, we switched from multi-tier to multi-target HANA system replication. Third, we adopted Amazon API Gateway to control traffics. Last but not least, we optimized our system by adopting newly released AWS SDK for SAP ABAP. First, I'm going to go through the number 1 and 2, explaining how we could build more and more robust and scalable DB environments on AWS networks. The first one I'd like to share is SAP HANA's active read enable feature. In general practice of SAP HANA system, although a primary database is designed to handle all types of transactions, read enable feature allows secondary database to handle read transaction to lessen primary database's load. This feature can be deployed by 2 different ways, implicit connection and explicit connection. As you can see in the diagram, implicit connection used hint-based routing by adding hint at the end of HANA SQL for read transaction, while explicit connection is enabled by direct connection to secondary database for read transaction. Samsung Electronics has been doing a lot of thinking on two ways and finally decided to go with implicit connection. With implicit connection, every read transaction is requested after ensuring secondary database is availability. And a transaction is processed based upon whether or not hint is added. Any SQL without hint will be routed to primary database. If a SQL has a hint, HANA client checks the availability of secondary database first. And if it is okay, the SQL will be routed to secondary database. As GCRM system has some customer segmentation job, which required running heavy OLAP and all the SAP BOBI queries. And we successfully leveraged read enable option, and it's working well. This slide shows how our HANA read enable load works. Samsung Electronics' internal legacy system, like Samsung Account, Samsung Online Store, Galaxy Store, send GCRM a lot of real-time transactions, BOBI or OLAP queries. Once queries are requested, secondary database handle OLAP or BOBI queries, while primary database immediately responds to real-time transactions. It's beneficial to offload the primary database's burden, and we could improve operational stability and resource utilization. The next thing I'd like to share is switching from multi-tier to multi-target HANA system replication. GCRM is Samsung Electronics' mission-critical workload, and it should be running under any types of unexpected disaster situation. So, robust DR implementation is much important as architecture modernization. As you can see in here, on top of spreading primary and secondary nodes across multi-availability zones in Seoul region, we installed separate DR node in Tokyo region. Having said that, how to configure to HSR between each node and how to design auto-failover when primary node is failed, or additional consideration factor we should thoroughly think over. This slide illustrates our on-premise HADR architecture. It was the multi-tier replication of HANA DB, and primary database is replicated to secondary database. Secondary database is replicated to DR database in order. However, multi-tier replication gave us two problems. The first problem is when secondary database takes over primary. There is no backup database until primary database is recovered. The second problem is have to do manual work for DR configuration between the recovered primary database and DR database. This is a new architecture. We switched it to multi-target replication. As you can see, primary database is replicated to secondary database, read database, and DR database at the same time. Also, we added a read-only database. With this architecture, although secondary database takes over primary database, read-only database plays a backup database role, meaning high availability is maintained. Another advantage is that we don't need a manual configuration. It's done in a couple of minutes automatically. This slide summarizes the entire architecture again. I will not take too much of time to repeat. From now on, our engineer Byung-hun Kim will dive deeper into the later part of the four pillars and present how we upgraded our system with the AWS. Let me introduce my team's lead developer, Byung-hun.
Thank you, Yong-gun. Hello, my name is Byung-hun Kim from Samsung SDS, and I'm working for GCRM optimization. From this point forward, I will continue to explain the real use cases on system modernization using AWS services. Okay, let me start from Amazon API Gateway. Samsung Electronics global CRM system is connected with more than 1 billion global clients through API calling. API traffic is very much unpredictable. So during the big event season, like Black Friday, GCRM system used to receive much higher API traffic. And many times, it caused the system failure. Black Friday promotion should be an opportunity to increase our sales. However, if we don't control the API traffic relevantly, it can be a risk to lose our customer. Please imagine how horrible it is. Amazon API Gateway helped us a lot to solve this problem. As you can see here, current architecture is redesigned that API Gateway receives client API calling in front of GCRM endpoint, and it places a gateway roles as it named between client and GCRM AP. With this new architecture, we were able to distribute and control the API traffic, and if necessary, throttle the traffic to maintain stable system operation. With Amazon API Gateway, we could operate our system without any critical issues during the big event season. Here, you can see the details of API Gateway works in GCRM system. We implemented combination of AWS Lambda and Amazon CloudWatch on top of API Gateway. If CPU utilization of GCRM AP or HANA DB reaches more than 95% due to unexpected API traffic, and then CloudWatch is supposed to sense a user signal first and trigger the API Gateway to control the maximum number of transactions through AWS Lambda. All the action is designed to run automatically without any manual operation. And finally, we could successfully manage our system and our operation with this architecture. The last thing we implemented is adapting AWS SDK for SAP ABAP. Here, I am going to share 3 main use cases of ABAP SDK applied to GCRM. The first example shows how we adapted newly released ABAP SDK for Amazon Simple Queue service to our system. The customer data loss happened many times if it is requested when GCRM AP is not available. And in this situation, it was a big damage for us. So we changed that all the request data to be sent to Amazon SQS for queuing, and GCRM AP is supposed to get data from Amazon SQS when it is only available. By adopting SQS service, we could significantly reduce the risk of data loss even though heavy traffic is requested. Okay, next one is our case of using ABAP SDK for Amazon Simple Storage Service. Before ABAP SDK is released, we maintain a separate file server to exchange data file format. The file server should be placed in between S3 and GCRM AP. Additional EC2 instance must be required. However, it's hard to say that this is the optimized architecture because the file was redundant and additional cost. So we changed the GCRM AP directly access it to S3 storage and process the data through ABAP SDK. We could gain overall performance improvement by simplifying the data processing step and removing the redundant resources. Lastly, this slide shows how we could simplify our campaign channel management through Amazon Simple Notification Service. The objective of GCRM is to attract the maximum customer traffic. So we have been operating diverse campaign channels such as email, SMS, push, social media, and mobile messenger, like WeChat or WhatsApp. But our trouble was that each channel should be managed individually, so it gave us a lot of operational burden. So we changed that. All campaign channels are consolidated with Amazon SNS using ABAP SDK. No matter what type of campaign channel is, GCRM is able to send out campaign activity with the same logic through Amazon SNS. This enabled the marketing organization to drive marketing execution without unnecessary operational burden. This slide is a summary of GCRM modernization journey that we explained today. For traffic control and data protection, Amazon API Gateway and Amazon SQS were leveraged. And for load distribution and system stability, multi-target and lead-enabled database were used. Also, by launching ABAP SDK, we could leverage diverse AWS services such as AWS Lambda, Amazon SNS, SQS, S3. On top of this modernization effort, we implemented SecCast to prevent DDoS attack and Sherpa and Splunk for comprehensive monitoring with Amazon CloudWatch. Okay, this is our last slide explaining the result of our innovation. I'm afraid I can share the specific number here, but we could increase the transaction per second with 300%. This is huge improvement. And we could improve system reliability to implement traffic control feature. Also, we could save a total cost of ownership significantly. Another indirect benefit is we could prevent data loss. Those protected data must be a great asset for Samsung Electronics to modernize their marketing execution. We like this innovation path we make with AWS. We can say for sure here, our innovation will be continued. Okay, thank you for listening to our innovation journey. And now, let me invite Sejun Kim again.
Thank you, Byung-hun. I hope you enjoyed our session. Before we start to have Q&A session, I want to give you another good information. For next step, to start your SAP modernization journey, I recommend you reserve your session. You can get to it by scanning this QR code. And when you will leave your interest at this page, after that, we will reach out to you. And actually, there are various AWS for SAP sessions we have prepared in this Winband. So I hope after this session, you are continuously interested in our SAP session. So if anyone else needs to take a picture, I will give it another couple of seconds. Lastly, I would like to ask you one very important favor. AWS is a data-driven company. As such, your opinions matters greatly to our improvement efforts. So please take a moment to fill out a short session survey in your mobile app so that we can continue to deliver the content that you need to be successful. Our session has done. I really appreciate for your time. And now we will open up the floor for any question or answer. Thank you.